Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. MC Motorsports Broadcasting here live from the Last Great Colosseum, Bristol Motor Speedway for the Worldwide Racing League Truck Series. Got roughly 33 minutes left in practice here. A new thing this week with some extended practice for these drivers. We got about 15 laps laid down, or 15 drivers to lay down a lap, and so far Keith Ayers has a 14.48 sitting atop the board. We'll see as the drivers slowly make their way into the session before we get qualifying at about 8:15. Here in the booth with me is my partner, as always, Michael Matta. Matta, what do you think we're going to see out of a, looks like, night race at Bristol here in the trucks?
Well, after Martinsville, they decided to add some more practice for these guys, and definitely taking advantage. We got 15 guys who've taken time on track. Some guys are up to 50 laps. Some have only taken 10, but they're definitely taking advantage of it, racing side by side. I think we'll see a lot of racing tonight. Hopefully, green flag.
Absolutely. We are scheduled for a good amount of laps here tonight. And on top of that, this is the qualifying race for their Dash4Cash in-season kind of extra competition amongst the competition. The top 8 drivers are going to finish, or top 8 drivers that finish here tonight will be the ones that lock their way in. And then they have a couple races that are spread out throughout the regular season where they will accumulate points. And then I believe there is some sort of prize for that. So we're going to actually bring in a lead admin. We're going to get Jade Burr in here, the driver of the 75, and get some explanation from that. Jade, it is Jonathan and Michael in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a league admin here to explain the Dash4Cash competition, the, again, fight within the fight that's going to start with the qualifying race here tonight. Go ahead and fill us in on how that's going to work.
So, Dash4Cash, Fatal Motorsports is going to be donating the money here. So, basically, so what it is, the qualifier tonight, the top 8 finishers will be eligible for the Dash4Cash. So, going forward, it will act just like the regular Dash4Cash, where the winner or the highest placed car will win the money for that night. So I don't have the schedule in front of me because I was running some laps around the track. Give me 1 second. I can tell you the Dash4Cash races. So, so the 3 races are, come on, work with me here, computer. All right. So obviously tonight is the Dash4Cash Qualifier. The first Dash race will be at Kansas. The second one will be Nashville. And the final race will be Lime Rock. So the top, like I said, the top 8 drivers will qualify for this. And then there's no money awarded tonight. But then the highest placed driver at Kansas will win $25. The same with Nashville and the same with Lime Rock. What we're doing a little bit differently is that we will keep a points based upon where those 8 drivers finish, and then the overall Dash4Cash winner will also receive a additional $100. So if you win all 3 races, and you obviously then you would place first, you can walk home with $175 at the end of the Dash4Cash.
That sounds like a lot of extra motivation for finishing top 8 here, and then just being it's just the highest place out of those 8 in those select races will take home the cash.
Yeah, yes, whoever finished the highest amongst those 8 at like Kansas, Nashville, or Lime Rock will win the $25. But then we'll keep track of your finishes for the points, and then the overall Dash4Cash champion will take home the $100 at the end of the Dash4Cash.
Well, there we go. That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like a lot of fun to watch out for. There's a lot of great drivers that are going to be maybe fighting a little bit harder tonight than normal. Thinking, if they're in 9th, they might not want to settle for 9th. They might want to push and try to get that extra spot more than any other race. So hopefully that promotes some exciting racing.
yeah, that the hope is it gives the drivers that are not, you know, necessarily either they don't run enough races or they just started joining with us or they're not going to be in that top, 12 that make the playoffs. It still gives them something a little bit more to drive for there at the end of the season. It keeps people going on. And I don't know. It's just something different we wanted to try to do, and Fatal decided they wanted to step up and hand out some cash to the drivers, make it interesting, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that is awesome. I definitely look forward to uh, seeing that take place. Now, are there any drivers in the field that might be, contributing towards that might not be eligible for it, or is every driver in the field going to be eligible to take that home?
Every driver is eligible. Like I said, the top 8 tonight, doesn't matter who they are. It could be the last person in points. They finish 8th, they are eligible for the Dash4Cash.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the clarification on what that was. I tried to explain a little bit of what I kind of thought there, and I missed the fact that, the highest finisher of those races will take home cash. I at first just thought it was points total and whoever wins it, but that there's just additionals there. So that sounds like a lot of fun, and it's amazing to see that put on by Fatal Motorsports, putting up the money for that. So we'll see if we find you up there in any of those positions, and if we're talking to you at all through the race or near the end.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully, we have a good night tonight. I'm excited. I love Bristol. I led laps here in the preseason race, so I'm excited to see if we can maybe come out with a win tonight.
Absolutely. Well, good luck out there and have some fun.
Thank you, sir.
I thank Fatal for putting the money out for this. This is going to be fun for not only the drivers, but for us. We get to watch some extra battles, and they get to race for a little more than just some points.
Absolutely. There's a lot of money on the line if you manage to take home all 3 and the overall points. I mean, if you take all 3, you're going to get the overall points. But there's a good chunk of change each night. I mean, $25. That's not anything small for just one race. Especially if somehow you manage to finish 12th, but the other 7 drivers had a very bad night. You could still take home $25.
Yeah, and with the road course being in there, this is be a road course ringer and get yourself a couple bucks later on in the season.
Absolutely. So if you can slide your way into the top 8 here and then pull an AJ Allmendinger at Lime Rock, you got a little extra cash in your pocket that week. That'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, and tonight we'll be watching that 8th, 9th place a lot more heavily than we usually would.
Looks like we're up to 16 drivers putting down at least one qualifying lap. I'm seeing a 17th driver is registered. We got about 25 minutes, I think it is, until qualifying. Yep, it's up there, 25 minutes till qualifying. Keith Ayers still holding that top spot, the 14.48. Mark Cofield's back. I believe he missed Martinsville last week. He's in second and not behind by much. It doesn't look like. He's a 14.52. And it's about an entire 10th from 1st to 6th right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's that place from like 3rd down to 7th that's really close on times. I think we might see the first few pull away in qualifying, and then we'll have a really close battle for midfield for those positions getting decided.
Lots of figuring out the track going on here in practice. See a lot of trucks going around. They're going to try and find that limit of how hard they can go without losing control, and then hopefully knock right on that door, but not quite get there once the race comes around.
Oh yeah, with Bristol being such a rhythm track, these guys putting in a lot of laps. I see Brandon Alessi's up to 89 laps already. He's run about half of the race distance, a little bit less, but yeah, that's just gonna help him out when it comes to race time. He'll be right in that rhythm compared to some other guys who might run like 10 here and then go to qualifying. What I am seeing in practice, though, is either line is pretty viable. It looks like if you're side by side, the bottom might be a little bit better right now. We'll kind of see as the track wears in, and I think if you're alone, the top might be better, but if you're side by side, that bottom, you can really dive it in.
Absolutely, and if you're running too high, you do gotta look out for the wall on exits. They will sneak up on you, and you might smack that wall coming off the corner. And a small track like this, that could be dangerous if you don't stick to it and bounce off. You collect quite a few other trucks into a wreck, and that'd be unfortunate for everyone behind. There's not a lot of room to go anywhere, not a lot of space to check up, so that wall will sneak up on you. Not as much as Dover might, but it's definitely going to stick out and try and bite you.
Yeah, it's this track, it could be really tight, it could be really loose. It really goes race by race, but it's a really fast oval, so any damage you get, it might affect your aero, and it'll slow you down quite a bit. Not a lot, but it could put you off pace to where you just fall back slowly and slowly.
We're gonna go ahead and try and pull up our points totals after Martinsville last week. Let me see what I got. Here we go. We got our points totals showing up there on the screen. Again, the locked-in drivers: Tanner Coster, Nicholas Lamb, Javier Zapata, and Tyler Johnson. Breaking news out of this week following the Martinsville race: they did penalize Tyler Johnson some points for actions during the race. I believe that was 25 points.
I think it was 25.
It was a 25-point penalty and a 5-week probationary period of being under a little more strict eyes for being too aggressive and causing any avoidable incidents. But that does not change playoff eligibility. He's still locked in. He still got that win. That points total, instead of being that 109, is going to be 25 points less than that. And the only thing it'll affect at this point is the regular season championship, which is being led by Tanner Coster, who has 2 wins and 195 points.
So I don't know too much about the point system for the league, but I know it's very unlikely, but if we get more than 12 winners, is it going off of playoff points or regular points? Because that could be huge for Tyler Johnson if it's regular points.
That is an excellent question. I do not believe it is specifically outlined in the WRO rulebook, but we can clarify that with the admins at some point. I would think that's going to go by total points and not playoff points. That just makes the most sense in my eyes. But I mean, we're through. This is week 6, and there's been 4 different winners. We're through week 5. We're in week 6. 4 different winners already, and if we manage to bring up 13 winners, then somebody that won a race is not guaranteed anymore. They're going to be outside looking in.
Yep, and we haven't hit a road course yet, which usually someone different will win those, so you can't definitely put a new winner on there, but you almost can. But anything can happen at any of these tracks, so I mean, 13 winners isn't out of the equation. Might not happen, but it always could. So Tyler Johnson has to get some points back up here heading into just the rest of the season.
And on the Tyler Johnson topic, it does not appear, I'm not seeing his name in the entry list at this moment. Just under 20 minutes remain for more drivers to get in here, but that could also be huge. I think they have a race requirement, because they had mentioned for drivers that haven't raced enough to make the playoffs, have the opportunity for the Dash4Cash. So we could see if anybody misses too many but has that win, that lock-in doesn't exist anymore. I think there might be a minimum race requirement that you have to meet to still be eligible with that win.
Just to put those 25 points into perspective, right now, after 5 races, from 5th place to 12th place in standings, it's only 34 points.
25 points is a gigantic drop in the regular standings.
But that's all if he ends up coming back. I hope he does. The league gave him another chance to show that he's better than Martinsville. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, fantastic driver, finding his way in the front a good couple times and locked in that one win. So we definitely hope that he returns and proceeds to race the rest of the season with these guys. At this moment, we're up to 8 positions that are separated by a tenth or less, and all the way back to even the back of the field is less than half a second, but all the way to 14th is separated by 0.25 or less.
And something I'm seeing is we have our first car that's finally hit 100 laps in practice. That's Brandon Alessi. He's really putting the laps down. He doesn't really have the lap time to show it yet, but he's getting the laps in. He's getting that practice in. He's running around cars. Every time we show him in the 40, he's got a car either in front or behind him, so he's getting that experience just driving around other trucks.
Absolutely. What do you say we get that driver, that number 40, Brandon Alessi, up here and see what's on his mind as he gets through these final moments of practice?
Let's do it.
Find where he's hiding at. Brandon, is Jonathan and Michael up in the booth? Got a copy?
Yeah.
You are turning quite a few laps out there. You've surpassed 100 laps of practice at this point. Tell me, how is the track, and what are your mental and physical preparations for this short track?
It's definitely slick coming off turn forward, and probably middle of both turns. Preparation, man, just trying to find that. Oh snap! As I spin out right now.
Broadcaster's curse.
Yeah. Nah, just trying to figure out how much throttle going in, coming out. I mean, I'm just gonna try to play safe. Hopefully, get lucky and a few other people spin out in front of me and I can dodge wrecks. Because man, there's so many fast people today. I don't think I'm gonna be any competition in them. So.
Well, we talked about that. This track is so rhythm based, and with you running so many laps, you might have a little bit of an advantage over some people who aren't running as much practice here with the extra practice time.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, they're so fast. If not as many practice laps, it might be beneficial for me, but yeah, they're so fast. I mean, they're 4/10 faster than I am, 3/10.
Well, we are going to give you what I'm just throwing out randomly as the Sir Practice a Lot award of the day. Putting down plenty of consistent laps, not too out of control, just trying to learn the track. And I definitely do look forward to seeing what you can put together. And I definitely expect to be seeing you making a charge as you have in weeks past.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. Like I said last week, me and Kyle, our goal is just to try to make in the top 10s, try to avoid wrecks as best as we can. Because, there's so many fast people in this league. It's going to be a tough one to win. But as long as we can try to get the top 10s and get in the playoffs, hopefully by points. So.
Hey, 12 people make it in your top 10 every week. You'll be in there as long as we don't get more than 12.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah. Well, good luck out there.
Appreciate it.
And you were down in the Law Dog, right?
Yes, Law Dog.
Alrighty, we will return you to your team, and good luck.
I appreciate y'all.
That was the driver of the 40, Brandon Alessi, made up a random little Sir Practice a Lot award of the night right there.
But I'm seeing out on track as we're showing there's a lot more trucks coming out in traffic. They're trying to race near people. Earlier in practice, they were all just trying to get spaced out, race by themselves. But now we're seeing 4, 5 trucks together trying to get familiar with the dirty air here and how you're going to make your passes.
Absolutely. We are finally up to 18 trucks with a lap time and 19 registered, just over 10 minutes left to go. And I got to point out, as a slight bit of favoritism, a new face in the field. We got Bruno Latour in that Pepto number 54, driving for MC Motorsports as a driver, as we are up here commentating. So looking forward to see what he can do. Currently sitting P15 on the practice boards and out there trying to get more laps in and more experience on the track.
Yeah, he's one of 2 Canadians out in the field. We got Matt McDonald and Bruno Latour. Everyone else is American, but 2 Canadians out there.
Fast time still held by Keith Ayers, that 14.49. I don't think he's gone out in a minute. He's still sitting on pit road. He must feel pretty good at this moment. Well, looks like we're getting a good field here, as we have in weeks past. We've been, I don't know if we've had under 20. It's definitely been right near 20 every week. If we did hit under, it wasn't by much.
I feel like that 20 mark is, once you go over 20, it's a good sized field. Anything under it starts to feel a little empty out there on the track. Feels like you're kind of just racing the track to other people. But glad that we're getting up near 20 every week. Puts on a good show, and it's a lot more fun to race.
I agree, and again, we're looking at a lot more than just a race here for the win, for a playoff spot. We are getting a race for the top 8 for, again, that Dash4Cash award for those 3 tracks. I think that's every other week following this week, if I remember correctly. So the race next week will not be part of that, but the one following it will be top finisher of those 8 in that race. Take home some cash. That should be fun. I really expect to see some people pushing a little harder that are just outside that top 8 to try and get in there.
Yeah, that battle around, I'd say 12th to like 6th is gonna really be heated for a lot of the night. People want to be in that. I mean, it's a little bit of bragging rights to be the part of an elite little group this early in a season. Usually it's only near the end of the season guys run a playoff or something, but being one of those guys this early, it's definitely bragging rights. But I mean, of course there's the money involved, but being one of those 8's going to be real cool for some of these guys.
Currently the top 8 on practice time is Keith Ayers, Mark Cofield, Matt McDonald, Will Moore, Nicholas Lamb, Kevin Stanley, Ryan Jones, and Reginald Harris.
You mentioned Kevin Stanley there. He's run 110 laps. So we've got 3 guys over 100. Kyle Lawver will be there soon at 97. So these guys are really putting in the time. The league put out a little more extra practice, and these guys are really taking advantage of it. Really cool to see. Usually some leagues don't put out too much practice. These guys had almost none. I think it was 15 minutes and then a qualifier. So
Yeah, prior to this week, these guys were throwing the session out. That session was starting at about 8 o'clock. And with the way iRacing sessions work, even though it's set for 8, it might not let you get in until 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes after. So that really limits the practice to roughly 10 minutes a time. And then you get your qualifying laps. And that's why we saw guys like in the past. And I think that was one of those guys was Brandon Alessi, was using the end of qualifying after a second lap was put down to continue turning laps as qualifying ticked away. So I think this is really going to help drivers like him that like to get some more practice, to get more experience, to run a cleaner race, have less, single car incidents that turn into multi-car incidents, and hopefully we get some longer green flag racing out of this.
And something we haven't mentioned yet, Bristol does have 2 different layouts. It has the one really long single pit road and then dual pit road, and we're running the dual pit road where half the drivers pit on one side and half on the other side. But I think with the 20 car field, there might be just only a few cars on the backstretch. Doesn't split it. It does like top 15 or something on the front, and then the last 5 on the back. But keep you updated during the race, exactly who's where and how that shakes out.
With that dual pit road setup, that also means they can enter under green at least. They can enter on whatever side their pit box is. They don't have to enter in one spot and drive all the way around. So if your pit box is on the front stretch, you can pit on the front stretch pit entrance. And if yours is on the back stretch, you can pit on the back stretch pit entrance, as opposed to, no matter where you're at, having to use the same entrance. So that is a bit of an advantage. It's less lost time, not having to go down a pit lane that you don't need to.
Yeah, it makes
Even on
differing
exit.
strategies a lot more inviting, because you're more likely to go down pit road and do something different if you're only going to lose 2 laps and say losing 4 laps doing dual pit or single pit road. So it opens up the door for a little more strategy, instead of everybody waiting until the end of the fuel run to pit because they're afraid of a caution coming out and being stuck a bunch of lap downs.
We've been taking a look at Will Moore here, sitting P4 in lap times. He's running quite a few laps at this point. I think we get him up here and see how he's feeling.
Yeah.
Will, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, we've had our camera on you for a minute here, watching some of your more recent laps, and they've been looking quite solid, nothing too out of shape. How are you feeling for tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. Got a good time. I think there's more time in the truck for qualifying, but we'll have to see when we get there. Really treacherous off of the corners. It likes to step out late in the run, so we'll just have to manage the tires on it.
Yeah, we've had a couple guys saying the exit was a little loose.
Had a good time. I think there's more time in the truck.
Looking forward to the end of the race. This is the Dash4Cash Qualifier. Top 8 make the Dash4Cash races for 3 of them throughout the next couple of weeks of the season. What kind of motivation does that put into fighting for that top 8 rather than settling for a P9 as some might?
Every week I want to try to, get a best finish as possible. But it's some good motivation, to get some, because I'll be funding the week to week Dash4Cash. So it'd be nice, to keep that $25 in my pocket. But it's every week, no matter what, and I want to go for the best finish possible. But definitely, this kind of gives you a little extra motivation.
Yeah, I think we talked to you a few weeks ago. You said you like to run up front, and then you find yourself near the back, and then you make these late race charges. I think I'm gonna have to start calling you the closer. You're sitting P4 on time right now. It's Bristol. It's all about track position, so you're gonna want to be up there. But how confident are you in making passes here?
I'm pretty confident. The truck feels good on the bottom. It feels better on the top. But I think I can make a good charge on the bottom if need be. Like you said, it's going to be about track position. That's going to be the name of the game here. And it's just keeping the truck clean all night and just seeing what we can get, doing what we've been doing. If I need to get out of it, I'll get out of it, and hopefully I'll find my way back up to the front at some point. If I do get back there, but the goal is to stay up front as long as possible.
Sounds like there's quite an exciting race on our hands from you. We'll be looking forward to seeing if we're talking to you at the end. You're looking quick right now. We'll see if that translates to qualifying in the race. But good luck and have some fun out there tonight.
Thanks, guys. We'll do.
And I already forgot, what team was that you were down there with?
I am with AMR.
All right, we'll send you back to your team and have fun.
Thank you.
So we're getting into the time of practice, only about 3 minutes left. Guys are going to be going out trying to get a little bit of space like it was in the beginning. Just practice and qualifying here. Not seeing as many trucks really near each other like we did a few minutes ago. Everyone's trying to space out and get a fast lap in, see what they got for qualifying, see how much the track has changed since the beginning.
We have surpassed 22 drivers. We got 22 drivers registered. They've all put down at least a lap, ranging from a 14.49 to a 15.16. So that makes the gap between the whole field a little under a second, or half a second, all the way back to last.
Yeah. I mean, just from, say, second down to about 10th, it's really almost no time. Bristol, it's a short track, but it's a track where you can gain and lose a lot of time during qualifying. It's not like other short tracks where the times are really close. This place is really technical for the kind of track it is.
Yeah, any slight bit of twitch or lift off the throttle or extra braking where you don't want it is really going to ruin a lap time with how close everything is. We're down to the final 2 minutes of practice. These laps wind down. Bring up the points about one more time here. Didn't really analyze them too deeply. So the highest driver not locked in is Matthew McDonald. He's got 152 points. And then the last driver currently in is Keith Ayers. He's got 118. A couple drivers on the outside looking in that have performed really well so far. Anthony Camarada does have a playoff point from a P3 finish. Mark Cofield's been pretty strong in weeks past. 14th in points, same amount of points as Camarada. And then Brandon Alessi down in 17th, 101 total points. On the outside looking in as of now, but plenty of season left. One win gets you locked in. And I definitely see guys like that squeaking their way up.
Yeah, and we're starting to learn who the fast guys are. I mean, every week we're seeing Ayers, Cofield, McDonald, Moore. We're seeing them up front every single week now that we're in less of drafting tracks. So I think we might have found our core 4 or 5 guys that are going to run up front. But with these tracks being, with it being Bristol, I mean, one wreck could change everything and bring some other guys up front. Even just a different strategy. I don't think we've gone a race without saying someone's name because they've gotten up front. So the talent is really throughout the field. There are a few faster guys, but there are guys right behind them who will be ready to pounce at any time.
I think at any moment in time, if you look at the top 5 during a race, you'll find about 2 guys that have been up there the whole time. You get another guy that has done a little bouncing around, and then there might be another 2 that have came from the back and fought their way up. There's never a consistent top 5 that have been there the whole time, or an entire top 5 that all came from the back. There's a lot of skill variety, and everybody's going to get a taste of action at some point.
As practice is ending, we're going to jump over to qualifying. These guys are going to put down 2 fast laps. I think Bristol here, you can definitely use both laps, unlike a lot of other tracks where you want to use either the first or the second. I think here you can definitely use both laps if you mess up the first one.
Absolutely. It looks like Seth Morrison in that number 4 McDonald's machine. First one on my end, at least, to get out on track.
These guys are going to run against the wall, get as much momentum as they can, and then it's really up to the drivers. I mean, here I think you can run top or bottom in qualifying. Unless you're coming to the line, then you want that big run to the line, get as much momentum as possible.
We're watching Seth Morrison here. He's on his first lap, I believe it is, coming through 3 and 4 this time. Jeffrey Smith got the first lap down.
You have Keith Ayers going to the top of the leaderboard with his lap so far.
Seth
Only one lap
Morrison's
down.
15.33 must have been a second lap after an error. That is all that's going to come from that 4 machine. Tanner Coster, a usual at the front of the field, taking the current pole spot with a 14.61. Very quick time out of that 77. So looking at Brendan Wrestler making laps in that 79 Mountain Dew. Past the start finish on there for lap 2 with 14.81, good enough for a current P8. Bruno Latour is sitting in P9 with a 14.83, I believe is all done with laps. Ryan Jones making the way onto track right now. Coster still holding that top spot by almost nothing as Kyle Lawver shoots to the top with an almost identical time. The top 3 with 14.61, 14.61, and 14.62 separating the top 3 qualifiers.
If we go one more decimal place, Kyle Lawver's at a 14.605. Coster's at a 14.612. So only 7 hundredths there separating them.
And we got to look here at Jade Feathers. Found their way into the infield and up onto the victory lane. New addition recently by iRacing. Lets you go up there. It looks like Anthony Camarada is going to do the same thing. So we have people out on track that are finding their way into the infield. Maybe we'll see more of that out of Jade by the end of the race. Victory lane burnouts. Nicholas Lamb, one of the final 6 that have not put down a lap to head out.
Got right up next to that wall that time. See if it translates to some good lap times. Oh, he gets on the wall. Gonna ruin his lap, but he still has one more.
Takes that up to P5 with a 14.64. Kevin Stanley also out there.
Coming to his last lap here. It's going to put him
up at the top, 14.58. And it looks like that driver knew what he was doing and waiting. Maybe the track cooled down a little bit, got a little extra grip. Or maybe he's just that guy.
We have from P2 to P5 are separated by 100th, and then P1 got a huge gap of 200ths.
There's still 5 minutes left of time on the qualifying clock, and we have 4 drivers that have not set laps now. Tyler Johnson is going to be the next one to pull on out.
I mean, we were wondering if he was going to make the race, and here he is. So we're saying it's going to be a big day. He's got to get some points.
We're going to have to verify at some point the paint scheme and number for this driver. This is, we're looking at a 500cars.com truck, and this driver is the number 6 for the league. The number 5 is our pole sitter, Kevin Stanley Jr. So we'll have to get word out to this driver to verify that a correct numbered paint scheme is on their truck to avoid confusion between drivers and us here in the booth. First lap, setup lap 14.86. And only a 14.84 P15 of that driver. Matt McDonald is next out on track.
Matt McDonald was pretty quick in practice. I think he was around P5, P4. So he had it figured out. See if he can replicate it right here in qualifying. Yeah, you could just hear it. He got in the gas about midway through the corner, a lot sooner than a lot of other guys, and he just got loose.
And I think that was a bad spot to do it at the end of lap 1, start of lap 2. That ruins both laps.
Yep, and that's gonna put him dead last on the field. He's gonna have a lot of work cut out.
2 drivers still to put times down. They got 3.5 minutes to do so. Does not take that much time to get an out lap and 2 qualifying laps set here at Bristol. So they could be waiting for the very end to see if the track will get as cool as possible, just to get all the grip they can.
I see Kevin Stanley has found victory lane, decided to do the newfound jump at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Go ahead and rewind on Stanley here. We'll take a look at that. A little bit of fun on the broadcast, waiting for qualifying to end. And it appears
they said no.
They said no. They got the session advanced. Kevin Stanley Jr., our pole sitter. Go ahead and pop up our qualifying results. Taking the pole here is Kevin Stanley Jr. in the number 5. Kyle Lawver, we're going to be that outside row first truck, the number 91. Ryan Jones, second on the inside. Tanner Coster, a really quick driver each week, P4. Keith Ayers, Nicholas Lamb, we're going to be 5-6. Jade Feathers, Ryan O'Toole, Brandon Leslie, and Will Moore round out the top 10.
Got Reginald Harris, P11, Anthony Camerata, 12th, Brandon Wrestler, Bruno Latour, 13th and 14th, Tyler Johnson, 15th, Javier Zapata, 16th, Jeffrey Smith in 17th. Then we got, who we got there? 18th.
That's
Sleeping Beauty. There we go. Sleeping Beauty in 18th, Seth Morrison, 19th, and Jocelyn Blesh in 20th.
Final 3 of the field with no time on the board. Charles Irwin, Matt McDonald, Mark Cofield. Two of them with no times, and one of them had that incident that ruined both laps. So they've got some work cut out for them, coming from the back of a 20-plus car field at Bristol.
Yeah, and those are both really fast cars, so they're gonna try and make their way up through the field quick. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll try and save some tires and just bide their time. But one wreck at Bristol and the whole track could be blocked, so being in the back is definitely a disadvantage this early as the trucks start to roll off.
See if they're going to get any additional pace laps or if they're going first time around.
I see the lights are off, but I think we're... Nope, we're going one more lap.
And a little bit of an incident deeper in the field. Ryan O'Toole is dropping way back, stuck up against that outside wall. Something going on with that 15 truck here on the pace laps. Pace car's still out. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Ryan O'Toole down 15 spots to P23 before the green flag comes out. Pace car is down. Green flag is out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We got 188 laps of high banked short track action. Pole-sitter Kevin Stanley with a good jump out into the front, as Reginald Harris has already gone down pit lane.
Looks like the field is trying to get spread out a little bit.
A little bit of 2x action. Couple cars back, we got Nicholas Lamb on the high side. Keith Ayers got by on the low side.
See the leaders really pulling away in that clean air, and everybody else is just kind of stacked up. Something we'll see here at Bristol. The clean air is going to be really good, and if you're stuck in traffic, it's just going to be just a traffic jam.
Couple early issues for some drivers. Jade Feathers way back on pace, down 15 spots to P22. Ryan O'Toole had that pacing incident. Reginald Harris was down pit road super early. And the yellow flag is out.
Looks like Bruno Latour is parked it on the inside wall. Doesn't look to have much, if any, damage.
Step into the replay here. Far chase view for the 54. Just enters on the top. Just gets a little loose. And then gets loose off as well. Locks it down. And barely kisses the wall. Might not have even touched it. Just a little bit of sliding on the tires there. No damage.
Looks like the pace car got by him, so he's going to be a lap down, I think. Nope, he's getting in front of the leader, so he'll still be on the lead lap. No harm, no foul. That incident looked like he got loose in the middle of the corner. He fixed it, and then he tried to get back on the gas, and there was just nothing for those rear tires to grip.
To jump back, I found a Jay Feathers incident. See what happened for the driver of that 75 truck. Early on, somebody's slowing off pace on the apron. Jade just bounces the yellow line a little bit. Loose on exit. Locks it down. Same exact ending result with no yellow flag as what just happened with Bruno.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It looked almost identical. Maybe because it happened a little bit later on corner exit and he got down low enough. But
it looked like with Jade's, the truck went around and immediately got off the racing surface. And with Bruno's, he was kind of sideways in the middle of the track with trucks still coming, but then it slid down and out of the way. So I think at no point was the 75 in the way of traffic, but the 54 definitely had potential to be a problem if the yellow wasn't thrown.
Yeah, we did see a truck almost hit Latour there. I forget who it was exactly, but there was a close call when he did spin. I believe it was a 24 of Javier Zapata. So
Bruno fortunate enough to get behind the pace car, but in front of the leader is going to get the wave around. Stay on the lead lap after that spin.
I didn't check to see how far these guys can go on fuel, but I know they run a half fuel tank. But they're not thinking about that at all this early, especially with track position being so important. I don't see anybody really pitting until lap 50 at the earliest, as the pace car pulls down pit road.
Green, green, green.
Big jump by the 5 of Kevin Stanley. Able to get to the top where he wants to be immediately into turn 1. Ryan Jones with a power move to take P2. Kyle Lawver, P3. Tanner Costa right on his tail.
And Mark Cofield goes around. No caution as they get straightened out, but Mark Cofield got a huge shot in the middle of the corner.
Looking a little deeper.
Oh, he goes around again. Oh, Bruno Latour into the wall hard. It's probably going to end his night.
I heard a motor blow, but I do believe there is a fast repair here tonight. They do run one fast repair.
Take it though. He's going to be down multiple laps.
Back up and find what happens here with Mark Cofield and Bruno Latour. They both immediately towed to pit lane. looks like the 97 with an arc into the corner. Bruno was out holding the bottom a little bit. And it was just a good run into the corner, followed by a move to the bottom. And that did destroy the 54.
And that's a tough spot for both drivers because the 97 wants to have a good corner, and the 94 just isn't quite there yet. But he's also trying to have a good corner, so it's tough for both drivers in that position. If you're Bruno, you don't think he's gonna pull down. You think he's gonna give you the lane. But if you're Mark, you don't expect him to really put the car there. So I don't really think that's on either of them. I think that's kind of just a Bristol racing incident.
And I agree. As the driver of the 54, you almost don't think that he's going to make a move into your lane. And then you just get cut off just a little bit. You can't really place too much fault on either of those drivers there. We're going to head back live to our leader, Kevin Stanley Jr. still out front. Ryan Jones, Tanner Coster, Keith Ayers all up a spot. Kyle Lawver has fallen down to 5th.
And I do want to correct, Mark Ofield didn't have to tow. He was able to drive it back. So he was able to save that tow and not go down a bunch of laps. He is down 1 lap, but as you can see, Bruno, he had to take that tow. He's already down 3 laps, and he had the tow. So if you get in a big enough crash, I don't think the fast repair is going to be that helpful, just because if you have to tow, you're going to lose. It's too many laps to really make up.
Now, if you're Bruno, you're going to pray for some good amount of yellows after you get out of pit road with that truck fixed up. You're going to want to hopefully avoid them as well. And get any lucky dogs you can and try and get back in it. But Mark Cofield, currently only a lap down after that, would be the first receiver of any lucky dogs.
Yep, he's the only car 1 lap down. So, barring any catastrophic race-ending stuff for him, he should get the lucky dog.
Tough start for the new face of Bruno Latour tonight. Pace car's going to dip down.
Green, green, green.
And again, just a great launch down into turn 1 for that driver of the 5. Being contested by Tanner Coster and Ryan Jones, though, early on. The top gets the run off, the bottom gets the run in. No advantage to either line at this moment. If anything, there might be a slight advantage to Tanner Coster being alone on the inside as opposed to Ryan Jones having a slight bit of blockage, not to say too much, with Kevin Stanley. He just wasn't rolling enough for Jones to get that topside working.
It looks like Ryan might be a little bit faster than our leader.
Yellow flag's not out. We're seeing some crashes on the incident board. Truck slow on the inside down there. Cofield gonna lose another lap.
He does have
truck sideways down there.
Caution's out.
I couldn't tell who that was. It looked like the 79 of Brandon Ressler.
Oh, we got cars around still. 87's around. We got some guys down pit road. I don't know if they were just avoiding that wreck or if they chose to go down pit road for some damage, but
the initial spin that I saw right there in front of the field was the 79. Brandon Ressler. Just gets loose as the leaders come around, stays on the bottom. And then after that, I don't know what occurred too much after that. We'll check the incident counting. I see Sleeping Beauty Red Repair is involved.
Oh, he just gets loose
on the outside, and then right in front of the 4.
Sends the 4
and then
in the pit
collects
road
the 113. The 4 and 113, that's Seth Morrison and Reginald Harris. Unfortunate bystanders. 23 laps complete here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Third caution of the night. Kevin Stanley still out front, holding the starting position, the only driver to do so. Current biggest mover is Jocelyn Blesh in that 420 machine in 11th. Started down there in P20. Other drivers up 8 spots are Javier Zapata in P8, Matt McDonald in P14. Aside from that, Kyle Lawver. Wonder if he's taking it easy after that P2 start. He's down 4 spots to P6.
Yeah, he could be. I mean, Bristol's a place where you can definitely save tires, and if we're gonna have a bunch of yellows, then I mean, the more you can save, the more you can stay out. And if you're able to stay out when everybody else pits, and you still got some good tires, you'll just have that track position for the rest of the race.
Bruno Latour did make it back on track 5 laps down. Mark Cofield is still out there as well. I think he fell a second lap down.
Looks like Ryan O'Toole is also stuck on pit road. Not sure if he had the tow, but he is there. Looks like the truck is fixed, but I can't really tell.
This is currently a 2.5 minute pit stop. He's been down there for a good amount of time. Rustler also back on track after the spin out in front of the field and then driving down pit road.
Green flag.
Green flag's in the air again, controlled by Kevin Stanley. He's gonna get that jump every time as long as he's got the lead when a yellow flag comes out.
Yeah, but I think we really got to watch Ryan Jones. He's really quick. I think he's definitely the quickest out of those top 3 right now. If he can get that lead, I think he'll be able to pull out.
Now Nicholas Land back here fighting on the inside, got past Will Moore, currently taking on Keith Ayers. Unfortunately for him, they're both rocking some Dale Senior schemes, so he's going to have some intimidator to beat out of those guys.
Looks like the top 6 or 7 6 cars have pulled away to their own pack, and then another small pack, and then really the really big pack from 12th to 17th.
Kyle Lawver has fallen back to P8, going to lose another spot here. Got to be some tire saving strategy going on from the driver in the 91. That 420 truck is up into P9, 11 spots gained from the start. Deeper in the field, got Brandon Alessi side by side with, looks like that's Anthony Camarada. Charles Irwin just behind. There's a group of trucks back here. Got the 11 of Matt McDonald. Seth Morrison is back there behind some of the lap cars. Bruno Latour and Reginald Harris. Both lap traffic in the middle of the field.
Looks like they're all pretty single file from 10th on up. So we got a slow car that's 75. I think he hit the wall. Right in front of that big pack, and it slowed them all down. Another car loose. Oh, big hit for the 91 into the wall on the front stretch.
Some loose wiggly trucks.
Oh, another truck. 75 was on the bottom. He took out a car. Just not enough room going 3 wide.
Is out. Matt McDonald involved.
And the 75 here
The
just got off track.
420 involved as well. So a lot of this, so there's some incidents that start deeper in the run between Jocelyn Blesh and that is Tyler Johnson.
Nah.
Just
got loose and got
aggressive
into each other.
driving, looseness.
Now this
And
doesn't pick back up until the front stretch, and something happens to the 91.
'75 got loose and clipped the 420 that was on the bottom of the track.
And then right there out of corner exit, the 75 gets turned when they go 3 wide, and that's what brought the caution out.
Oh, and a hard hit for the 11, whoever that was coming through. Tanner Coster involved in a little bit as they caught up to him.
So something I'm seeing happening is single car spins that aren't bringing out cautions, and then once those cars get going again, it's becoming a problem when they get 3 wide when they catch those slower cars, and that's what's bringing out these cautions.
Looks like Tanner Coster, while slowing up as the leaders for some of them stopped race cars, got tapped in the back end. Doesn't appear to be any damage to it, so it must not have been too significant there. Running P3, really strong driver, keeping it up front. Kevin Stanley still the leader. We got lead lap cars all the way back to, it looks like, 18th back. There's going to be a lap down. That 420 truck, tough break. Just running really strong, and then a little bit of an incident, and all of a sudden they're a lap down. Tyler Johnson looks like an extended stay on pit road. Sleeping Beauty's had a 1 and 9 second long stop. Brandon Ressler's on actively an almost 4 minute stop down there. A minute plus for a lot of drivers on that stop trying to get damage taken care of.
Mark Cofield, I think he was one of those guys involved in that. He's back down on pit road, 40 seconds now, trying to fix it. Coming out again, back on track, but he's not having a good go at it after not qualifying.
It does appear the lights are off on the pace car.
Green flag, green flag.
The normal jump for Kevin Stanley gets out in front, but not by as big of a margin as before. Ryan Jones, Tanner Coster just trying to catch him, but they're side by side with each other.
Yeah, they're right on him this time. It didn't take a lap like it usually has.
A little bit of single filing out already. Everybody settling into where they want to be. And then we get back to about 10th, where we have 2x2 between the 40, the 30, or 96, 7, and 4.
I think these guys realize that if they keep wrecking like this, they're not going to gain any positions. They single filed out really quick here on this restart, all the way through to about 10th or 11th.
Front guys settled out a little bit more. They've started to get some space between each other. Tanner Coster's falling back to P4. Nicholas Lamb on the rise here, sitting P3. Will Moore right on the tail of that 77 as well. Battle for 6th between Keith and Javier. 77 up into the wall. Looks like he had a little wiggle in the corner, got super slow.
And now we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 all kind of driving by themselves. This is really going to be where this run starts to get a little bit
Coster in the
longer.
wall again. And that truck is not feeling
three
too
wide.
good.
Oh, we get.
Oh, it
it's just gonna
gets.
stack them up.
Oh, and that's gonna be big damage. Motor blowout here. That one involved a really
Yeah, for
fast
Coster.
car and a lap car.
Here.
That's gonna be a tow.
Yeah, there's just nothing he can do. He's just stuck on the outside, going slow. Some faster cars came by 3 wide, and you're just in a tough position there.
Let's go find what initially happened a couple laps ago. Battling with the 8 of Will Moore. Looks like a little loose on the top side. The 8 checks up, a little tap, gets stuck in the outside wall.
I think I'm
Runs the top again. I believe there's contact with that car below. Little net code, it looks
net
like.
code.
Stuck into
Yeah,
the
then at this
outside
point-
wall.
Yeah, you just get stuck and you get slowed down so much.
Little tap from Bruno there. 96 finishes him off. Really
At that
tough
point-
break in that moment for that fast driver.
Yeah, once you get stuck in that wall, it's so helpless. You try to keep it in the wall, and you can't do anything at that point.
Bruno coming with a lot of speed off the high side. Tries to avoid it. Netcode really helped that as well. There was a good gap in there. Netcode seeming to be a huge problem for some of these drivers tonight. Coster still on pit road serving that tow. Kevin Stanley Jr. still the leader, 47 laps complete, 5th caution of the night.
Did we lose someone up front?
Yeah, that was
It
Tanner
was
Coster that was up there.
Yep, that's who that was. So, got a new face up in that top 3. What we saw was we were seeing the 5 and the 43 running that top line, and then Coster was running the bottom. So, this is going to be a different restart for these guys, front 2 guys with a different truck up there going to run his own different line.
They're doubled up. Lights are out. They're going to go green this time. We got 15 on the lead lap. 3 trucks, 2 laps down. Nobody in position to get back on the lead lap right this moment.
Green flag, green flag.
A huge jump by the 5.
Here's Will Moore on the outside, making his way up into this top battle.
I think the top line is where you want to be right now.
Nicholas Lamb seems to feel comfortable on that inside. Had room to squeeze in behind the 43 and didn't take it, because he moves up right there in front of Will.
Yeah, it looked like he was committed to that bottom, but moved up wisely there. The 91 gets a little loose on corner exit, keeps it rolling though. Back in 16th place.
75 gets clear of the 71. Seth Morris and Brendan Alessi duking it out for P9. Reginald Harris just behind them in that 113.
The fight for the lead's heating up. That 43 is right on his bumper. He's trying that bottom line. I definitely think that Stanley's holding up the 43.
Looks like Ryan Jones is trying to make that kind of middle-ish, a little bit off the bottom, a little bit off the top line work.
Like we said, track position is so important here. It's hard to make passes. Ooh, car around the 96 up into the wall. 15th place. Ooh, the leaders get into him.
Ryan Jones gets involved. We'll back this one up with the 96.
The caution was out at that point.
96 with a little bit of right rear damage. Car just snaps around. 7 makes a little tap to it. And he's stuck up in the top side.
Just came around and had nowhere to go.
And that might have been netcode help again. There almost looked like a gap as he came by.
I think he still would have hit him just a little bit.
I think the contact would have been significantly less at that point.
Yeah.
Without the netcode.
Does Ryan Jones have any damage on the front of his truck? I think he got away with one there.
I think the truck fixed itself. I think it realized. I think iRacing itself realized that there wasn't contact there. If we go back and watch that from a rear chase view, you'll see the fender and the front end take damage, and then it just pop right back together again.
And that's probably the fastest truck in the field right now. That's a huge break.
Get back live, Kevin Stanley still leads, 6th caution of the night, 57 of 188 laps completed. Lots of moving around from some of the mid pack drivers. A couple of unfortunate events for certain drivers have them 2 laps or more down. Brandon Ressler's down 22 laps. It doesn't say out just yet. Ryan O'Toole has parked it for the night. It does say out for that driver. Jeffrey Smith, the 96, did just lose his first lap. Balesh is down 2. Irwin down 5, same as Bruno Latour. Tanner Coster looks to be down 4 laps.
So with all these cars going laps down, people like Bruno, Coster, Irwin, only 4 laps down. I say only 4 laps down, but you have one wreck and you have to use a tow. You're on the same lap as them, and you're then in another race for just a few positions. And as we were talking about, points are really close. Those points could matter.
Green flag.
Pace car's down, green flag is out. Ryan Jones with an excellent launch there, able to get to the inside. Not enough to stick into the next corner.
Oh, and he's there.
He's
They're
gonna try to
side by
make that
side.
inside work. Side by side for P3, Will Moore and Nicholas Lamb.
Seems like with how good that top line is, it's going to take a mistake from Kevin to give up that lead.
As Charles Irwin loses another
Oh, a
lap,
car
under tire
around.
sliding,
Matthew
yellow
McDonald
flag.
in front of a couple guys, like the 77 involved, the 40 involved, Cofield involved, a lot of fast guys involved again.
Side by side, gets a little bit of a right hook there. That almost appeared to be, he thought the 40 was going to be higher than he was. There's still a lot of room. About half a truck to the wall. Gets turned around. Tanner Coster again collected in that one. Kind of nowhere to go. We get a POV from the 77. 40 just slides down the track and he just locks up into it. Really unfortunate night for a really fast truck. Seventh caution of the night, 63 of 188 laps complete.
And we might start seeing some pit strategies. But I think we've had too many cautions for them to be worrying about fuel. I don't know if they're going to have to make any stops, but I think the first person to pit and take fuel, if they need it, will cycle out to the lead. But no one's jumping down this yet. They either can't make it from here or they just have enough. Only time will really tell.
I believe drivers are double file this time. Should be a green flag next time. We have 13 on the lead lap at this point. Jocelyn Blesh, P14, 1 lap down. Will beat the Lucky Dog recipient pending being involved in an incident. Matt McDonald down there. Tanner Coster's down 4. Bruno Latour is down 5 laps. Charles Irwin, I believe, is down 7. Gofield down pit road. Smith McDonald also a lap down. So there's a 3-way battle between Blesh, Smith, and McDonald for the Lucky Dog spot. They're all on the same lap.
Like I was saying before the last restart, it's gonna get real scrappy down there. You're just kind of hoping to stay on the highest lap number when you get in a wreck for those guys back there.
Pace car is off.
Green, green, green.
Ooh, 5 doesn't get as good of a jump. The 43's to his outside. That's where the 5 was good.
I think the 43 had started and contact made. All drivers straight at the moment.
When he cleared himself there, it wasn't much room, but he made himself clear.
But as I was trying to state before, I think the 43 started side by side with the 5 long enough. He started to figure out his start time and was able to launch just a little bit later than him.
Oh, the 43
tap in
turned.
the left. Both loose into the outside wall, and here comes the field. Everybody's trying to check up and avoid it.
Still
Everybody
green.
is still shooting.
Oh,
The
the
5
5
gets
gets
tapped.
turned.
Yellow flag is out.
The 4 sideways. Here comes the 7 and the
7 and the
79.
71. 79. Yeah, I mean, the 43
one
was
thing.
really aggressive into those corners. He never, it almost looked like Daytona or Talladega with the amount of time he was on his back bumper. And it was just it was gonna happen eventually. You could just see it. It was building. I don't think the
We can go
43
back
liked
and
the
see
block
where
he
it
put
starts.
right there.
Yep, I don't think the 43 appreciated that.
He just held on his bumper for the next 2 laps.
And it was just locked on the back end down the next straight into the next set of corners. Just staying right there with him. Gets to the
Tries to cut
inside just a
underneath.
little bit. They met. They're both in the wall. I assume they would have gotten damage from that, but they stayed straight in the field, just trying to come in.
And then at that
and then
point,
just
it's
turned, and then
not really on any of
incidents.
those guys. It's just they're slow in the middle of the track with no caution.
Everyone trying to check up and work things out. But now let's take a peek at who our new leader becomes.
Yeah, this is gonna completely change it. We've
That's
got
Will Moore in
a whole
the
bunch of
8.
guys up here. Yeah, talked to him in practice. He just wanted a good day. Wanted to run up front, and he's found himself here.
As that looked to be coming back onto the lead lap. Who did that look like?
13th right now. Who was that?
Jeffrey Smith in the 96. Getting a wave around there. So is going to be on the lead lap after that. Tons of drivers down pit road. Ryan Jones that was involved. Seth Morrison was involved. Jocelyn Blesh back down pit road. Matt McDonald.
Yeah, a lot of cars fixing the little bit of damage they had. There was a lot of cars just
Charles Irwin.
getting
Mark
into a little
Cofield.
bit. But a lot of them are going in and out, not really staying on pit road long.
They're doubled up right here. Should be a green flag next time. 2-car
Lights are
battle,
up, and
Blesh
we've
and
got-
McDonald for the lucky dog. Both 1 lap down, the 420 and the 11.
Yeah, we've got a whole new race up front. This is going to drive completely different with these guys. They haven't had clean air, and they're probably running completely different lanes than those other leaders were. So we'll see who's good where and what lane they want to be in.
Fish car down and an entirely new leader for this start. Nobody has that launch timed up yet. Will Moore out into the lead.
Even with it looking that bad, Will Moore gets a great jump and might be able to hold on to this for a little while.
Jade Feathers, Javier Zapata. A couple of other stronger faces running back up front here. Duking it out for P2 is Keith Ayers. And
Ooh,
trucks go
spin.
around.
The 91 to 37 just get around. The car stopped on the top of the track. Nobody else was collected.
These trucks are going to try and get straightened out. Not in the way of the field.
And something we're going to have to start looking at is this week they put in an incident counter.
Yes, I
For these
believe they
guys.
did do a 17X drive-through and 21, is it, for a disqualification?
I think it might be 21 and then 30.
Oh, and that was
something like that.
aggressive. Nicholas Lamb. Looks like that car shot up the track. Gets a little loose and it just shot up the track. Collected Reginald Harris in the 113.
We've got two.
Tyler Johnson
ninth-
came to a stop behind it.
Looks like everybody 10th on forward stayed out. Might be making a fuel stop here.
That does give
getting
the
tires.
420 the lucky dog. So Blesh back on the lead lap.
And that's huge at this point.
15, it looks like 15 trucks on the lead lap. Matt McDonald is going to be what looks like alone, 1 lap down, so that should be a free and easy lucky dog if any yellows come out and he gets by. Coster down 4, Latour down 5, Irwin down 9. Mark Cofield down into the double digits, I think that was, down 15 laps in P20.
Something I'm seeing though, even though
21 laps down, Wrestler 23 laps down.
even though these guys are 21, 23 laps down, they're still in the race. The only one out is Ryan O'Toole, so they're trying to get as many points as they can, knowing that this is not the best race. I mean, it's just a lot of caution, so anything can really happen.
I mean, yeah, you could be 20-something laps down, but if anybody who's already used their fast repair gets involved in another major wreck, they could be done.
Yeah, we still got 100 laps to go, so they have 100 laps of just them being able to still gain positions. If someone wrecks with, say, 70 to go, they'll get those spots.
Green, green, green.
Will Moore, Jade Feathers, pretty even-ish start there, slightly better by the 8. Javier Zapata,
it's a
P3,
lot.
Keith Ayers, P4.
A lot more organized there. These guys are getting single file a little quicker.
Keith Ayers, Anthony Camarada, and truck goes around.
Ryan Jones
Ryan
again.
Jones is, yes, the 43.
No yellow though. Still green as he stayed off track.
Out of the way of the racers, off the racing surface. Green flag's gonna stay out.
And I think we kind of need that. This field's getting a little strung out. We might be able to get a good run in here if this stays green.
Feathers very loose off that last corner. Might have tapped the wall, might have not. Keith Ayers back here. Kevin Stanley Jr. trying to work his way back to the front. P6 and on the bumper of the 17.
37's having a bit of a problem. He keeps getting turned, but he keeps straightening it out and keeps rolling. Still on the lead lap, so
That truck we saw in the last incident was extremely loose. I can only imagine any damage from that wreck could be making it just 100 times worse. The rear end on that truck is all bashed in.
yeah, I think that's got something to do with it. He's really struggling. He's getting loose and it's just spinning on him. But still in the lead lap, so as long as he keeps it going straight, he'll have a good finish.
Most recent Lucky Dog recipient Jocelyn Blesh up into the P11.
Ooh, and there he goes around the 97 or the 37, just like we were talking about.
And
Another wreck
we-
happens. The 96 and the 91,
As
they
we
just
got-
wrecked. Two different wrecks here. The original one was right here. He just gets loose, and that brought out the caution. And then a few cars up, they spun up all by themselves, completely away from this one. It might have just been when the caution came out, they checked up, and he just wasn't ready to check up.
No, Kyle Lawver, that sounded like a blown motor and a jump to the pits. That right there is going to be about five laps, as we've seen, for a tow and a fast repair. So a driver that looked to be strong in qualifying, starting P2, and kind of fell back, appeared to be saving tires, is now on pit road having to tow and fast repair.
Something I want to point out, Tyler Johnson up to 6th. Said he needed a good points day. Kind of avoided everything, doing a good job of getting on the brakes when cautions come out. He's getting up there.
Lamb's currently only 1 lap down, coming on pit road this time. I would hope takes a fast repair if it's still available, but might try and just fix as much damage as possible. See if the back end of that truck snaps back perfect again. And it does.
Yep.
Fast repair used by Nicholas Lamb.
Right now we're looking at about, was he the lucky, no, Matt McDonald was the lucky dog, right? Should have been.
It might have been Alessi.
Okay, Alessi. All right.
I'm seeing Lamb and Smith both a lap down. I believe McDonald might be falling another lap down in the pits.
Oh, he just came out. So
Okay, so we're gonna have two cars, one lap down, fighting for the lucky dog. Nicholas Lamb and Jeffrey Smith. Tanner
Nicholas Lamb
Coster.
just got that fixed. So
Coster's
his
down
loose
4.
problem should have fixed itself. We hope.
Yeah, with all that damage taken care of, hopefully that truck tightens back up. Tanner Coster's down 4. Latour and Ryan Jones are both 5 laps down, fighting for 16th. Lawver's down pit road, roughly 6 laps down. Irwin's down 9. Pace car is in.
Green flag, green flag.
One more with a great jump.
Caught everybody sleeping right there and is immediately going to ride the top side. Keith Ayers back here on the inside. Kevin Stanley Jr. P4.
Oh,
And Tyler
aggressive turn
Johnson.
down. Almost wasn't clear, but he made it work. He's going for more.
Slow truck on the bottom there that appears to be... Couldn't quite tell who that one was. I think it was...
The 91
yeah,
of Kyle
91,
Lawver.
Kyle Lawver. Johnson and Camarada side by side. Keith Ayers with a run on the high side off the corner. Jocelyn Blesh, 13 spots up from the start. Made it back from being a lap down.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Yellow flags out. Brandon Rustler involved.
Gonna be 22nd place back there. Yeah, these trucks are just breaking loose on entry.
Solo
It's-
spin, no contact.
And the track isn't that hot. It's only 70 degrees. I'm wondering if it's just they're not getting the temps in the tires. They're cooling off, and then once they get just a little bit of temp in them, they're just you can't hold on to it.
Drivers down pit road. Will Moore is down. Camarada, Johnson, all a couple of drivers that were up in that top 5. It's going to cycle Javier Zapata to the front. Kevin Stanley Jr. is back to P2. Keith Ayers, P3. And Jocelyn Blesh up to P4. What a rebound from previous incidents and lucky dogs to now be in the top 5 here at lap 95 under the 11th caution of the night.
Yeah, I'm wondering if these guys are pitting because they can just make it from here. They know they can make it on fuel. Something to note is we had Stanley, the 5. He just pit to fix his damage, so he must have taken fuel there. I wonder if he can make it since he took the fuel there on the pit stop.
Excellent question.
Ayers haven't pit yet, so if those guys can't make it, they're gonna be in trouble when they have to pit. It's gonna cycle them to the back. These guys who just pit, if these guys do have to end up pitting, they're gonna cycle back to the front.
An even bigger thing to note with those guys not being down pit road yet, not just the fuel, but the tires. They're on 96 lap old tires. Now with the 11 cautions, they're not all green flag pushing hard. But if anybody, like Kevin Stanley on the outside, has taken a set of tires at any point, is going to have an advantage.
Yeah, I mean,
Jocelyn
we haven't
Blish.
run much green, but the runs are getting longer and longer. It's not 1 or 2 laps like it used to be. We're getting like 4, 5, 6 laps in, and it's gonna start hurting the tires eventually. These 2 cars on the bottom are the ones to watch. They haven't gone down pit road yet.
The field comes through down into turn 1 and 2. Zapata and Keith Ayers pacing the field as we have Kevin Stanley making the way back. Jade Feathers in the mix.
That 5, he was one of those guys up front early.
75 a little loose back there above the 420. Kept it straight for the time being. A lot of speed loss there, is going to lose some positions.
Here comes the 24. He made a little bit of a run. He's getting pressured by Stanley. Stanley's definitely faster than both of them, putting pressure on Zapata, and they got to get by Ayers.
And I believe Kevin Stanley can have patience here. He's got to have fresher tires than both of those drivers.
Yeah, 100%, especially here at Bristol where it's hard to pass. He could let them kind of make the mistakes in front of him on these older tires.
Wilmore, Jocelyn Blish fighting for P4. Looks like Wilmore is going to prevail on that outside lane. Seth Morrison is sitting in P6. Matt McDonald, P7. Lap car, Bruno Latour just in front of that 11.
We can really see the pack starting to really thin out. It's really the battle in the back with a big pack. But everyone up front is kind of single file doing their own thing, just kind of riding. You have a
Seth
car
Morrison's
stopped on the
backwards
front
on the
stretch. Yeah.
facing the wrong way there.
And that's gonna, yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be a hard thing to get going facing backwards without the yellow coming out as it does. And he tried his best to keep it low and keep it moving, but I think since he was driving backwards, the caution came out.
He pulled the Kyle Busch, backed that thing up till it was in a safe spot to get straightened out again.
Yeah, just it looks like just another single car spin on entry, and then here on exit, looks like entry and exit are really loose. These trucks are a handful tonight.
Drivers are coming down pit road.
And here it is, those leaders. Kevin Stanley's coming in, even though he pit.
Did I just see I think I just saw someone make a commitment violation. I want to say Camrata entered under the cone and then faked everybody out. I think that results in a penalty.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Commitment cone, that orange box back there. Camrata is probably going to end up with an end of line out of that, I would expect. Wilmore back to the lead. Jocelyn Blesh up 18 spots from the start in P2. Nicholas Lamb, Anthony Camrata, Tyler Johnson, Keith Ayers, Matt McDonald, Kevin Stanley,
Camrata,
Reginald Harris.
He's coming down the pit road this time. So I'm wondering if he did get the violation. He's just pitting just to do it at this point because he might as well.
We are down to just 11 drivers on the lead lap, it appears. Maybe 13. But it looks like no, Featherson and Morris, or Feathers and Morrison combined their last names right there for a second. So they are double, well, they're not quite double foul yet. Lights are still on the pace car.
Next time by. And what I'm seeing, Matt McDonald, he was down a few laps, back up in the 5th.
Another note I do want to make. P16, Bruno Latour, still 5 laps down, has not gained any laps, but has gone from P23 to P16 just by not wrecking again.
That's what I was saying. Even though you're minus 5 laps, you could still gain positions just by people crashing. So these guys staying in the race, they're going to gain points, especially if you crashed early.
Pace car is off. Wilmore with the control.
Green, green, green.
And a beautiful launch by the 8.
that he's really planted to the track. I think he's only on 16 laps difference from pit road. From the last time he was on pit road, it's only been 16 laps, so he's got the best stuff out there. I think besides Johnson, who was down 5 laps ago.
And look at the difference between a damaged truck and a fresh truck. Nicholas Lamb, troubles earlier, P3. It looks like Blesh got really loose off that corner, and that's going to let Lamb get the run on the outside. Around goes Tyler Johnson behind.
Caution's out.
Doesn't appear anybody was too involved in that.
Yeah, once again, just another single car spin.
24 got a little wiggly avoiding it, but just one truck around, everybody stayed good.
Yeah, it looks like once it gets sideways, it's easy to catch it, but it's already sideways. And you can keep it out of the wall, but at that point, it's already sideways. The caution's going to come out. So not many of these are really race enders unless someone else gets hit. They're just kind of lazy spins that just happen.
114 of 188 laps complete. Looks like Blesh is down pit road this time. We got McDonald, Brendan Alessi also.
Yes, like we were saying at pre-race, we see fast guys, and then throughout the race, we see just everybody. Like we've seen everybody up front. It happens every week now. It's always somebody different.
Absolutely, and looking at our lap cars tracker, I'm seeing is that Alessi and Morrison are both a lap down? No, just Morrison. So Morrison's going to be in the lucky dog position, given another yellow. The 96 of Jeffrey Smith is 2 laps down. Tanner Coster is 4 laps down. Both 5 laps down is Latour and Jones. 7 laps down, you got Lawver. Irwin is 9 laps down. Cofield is 16 laps down. Back in P20. And then after that, you got 21 and 24 laps down from Sleeping Beauty and Brandon Ressler. And O'Toole still the only one to have called it a night.
Something I am noticing over last week from Martinsville, this isn't so much of people just driving into people for our cautions. It's really just been the story of you're getting loose in and loose out and single truck spins. I mean, this isn't bad racing. It's just little mistakes from from like one guy, and then the caution comes out.
100%. I think the drivers that are finding their way to the front right about now are most of the ones that have avoided damage for the longest.
Ooh, and 37 Nicholas Lamb doesn't get going on that restart.
Excellent launch by Will Moore. Here comes Reginald Harris in the 113. Has not been the best of days for that truck, but is in the top 5.
Yeah, he was part of an early wreck where he just had nowhere to go on that outside line and got collected.
Keith Ayers trying to make a pass on Reginald back there. Goes from the top to the bottom. I'm going to try the inside for this corner. The inside line might be starting to catch some rubber.
Yeah, we're seeing that bottom line be pretty good. I mean, there isn't much going on for the lead. They're all spacing out, but back here, it's really the bottom. Everybody's running that bottom right now.
Kevin Stanley back up to P2.
Bruno gets on the wall. They went just kind of hard racing, but they keep rolling.
Keith Ayers, Reginald Harris back here fighting away. That's
And this
Keith
battle's
Ayers and
heating up
Nicholas
for the
Lamb.
lead. Stanley's there. Wilmore gets in the wall. They touch. Wilmore's in the wall, and the 5 gets by easy. I think there was a little bit of netcode when they did touch, but there was definitely a little bit of contact as the 5 went by.
I'm seeing Ryan Jones crash and immediately jumps to the pits, avoids bringing out the yellow flag. We'll step away from live action for a moment to find out what happened there.
Just pulls down. I don't know.
Maybe trying to come to pit road.
Something I'm seeing. This leader, they're catching lap traffic maybe in another 4 or 5 laps.
They just came to a stop and jumped to the pits there on the inside. Not quite sure what happened there.
Weird, maybe he's just parking it for the night. These guys are catching about a 4-car pack up here. We haven't seen any lap traffic at all today. Nothing, no long runs. Here we got a little bit of something going on. These guys are still racing for position up in front, 14th and 15th.
Ryan Jones has called it a night. And that right there is one of those
5
instances.
is caught lap traffic. Ooh, in front. He gets loose to lap traffic. 77 Acoster. You're gonna get by him pretty easy. That was a tense moment there. The 77 was on the top, got loose, drifted to the bottom where the 5 was right in front of him. 5 had to check up a little bit.
But as previously mentioned, Ryan Jones calling it a night. That has already gained Lawver and Irwin a position each. And there's enough laps left that I believe everybody back to Wrestler is gonna gain and take that spot. So it's gonna be a P22 finish for the 43, who was strong early.
Even with that little bit of a mess up from the 5, not a mess up, just the 77 coming down in front of him, he still got through lap traffic better than Will Moore, who's just now getting past that lap traffic. So that built a big cushion for Kevin Stanley up in front as Will Moore hits the wall again.
Javier Zapata following right through, so is Nicholas Lamb. Kevin Stanley is just slowly going to get to run away if these guys keep getting lap traffic and battling each other.
Yep, but Kevin Stanley is catching another little group up there. It's going to take a few more laps, but there is definitely more traffic ahead.
Everybody from 2nd to 5th right now appears to be, and even 6th, appears to be really close to each other. Stanley's kind of checked out by about a second and a half.
And with this running green, we're winding through the laps quickly. We're at 136 out of 188. That's only 50 laps. It's only about 25 minutes if it stays green for these guys to really race it out.
Tyler Johnson back here all by himself behind, it looks like, the 97.
Oh, Lamb goes around all by himself. He keeps it rolling. That's from P45. Another hard hit to his engine. It looks like he's going to be done for the night as he's got smoke coming out.
He's already used that fast repair as we saw earlier.
He's most likely done for the night. As
can
we have
back that
Zapata
one
catching up to Will Moore for 2nd.
Here's a replay from Nicholas Lamb. Looks like, again, just loose on the outside.
Oh, and
Head
around
on
in
into
front
the
of
wall.
the field. No, and Will Moore gets caught up. Brandon Resler spins from near the back of the pack, right in front of the second group of 2nd and 3rd. And Will Moore gets caught up.
So the 79 gets a little net code contact from the leader. Has it locked down, comes to a stop.
And Will Moore has big damage on the front end of his truck. Oh, it might not be too bad. It looks like just some scratches, but it's definitely not going to help.
Looks like it was a lot worse than it was initially, but again, it popped back together. Not entirely like we saw earlier, but a little bit better than it was.
He's missing that fender above the left front. I don't. It might have even given him wheel
Oh,
damage.
into the
That
wall
wheel's not straight.
again.
His left front's not straight. He's got wheel damage. He's coming to pit road. That's gonna end his chances.
That is gonna hurt a lot for the 8 of Wilmore, who looked for a promising finish here.
Got the 113 pitting from 7th place. Might be a time to take tires, as we saw a really good green flag run there. This might be the time for that 113 to really gain some track position. Oh, lose it here and then gain it back if we get a green flag run on new tires.
Now, if I had to pick favorites right now on who can win this race, it's going to be anybody with almost no damage that just put tires on.
And how many do we have?
Laps,
I don't think there's many cars out here without any damage.
I mean, we're down to 12 drivers on the lead lap.
And if you remember, 8 people are getting into that Dash4Cash, so this might just end up being whoever's left on the lead lap. As we've got Wilmore losing a lap. No, he stayed out. He's not going to fix it. I thought he went down pit road, but he's staying out.
He might
Oh,
have
no, he
used
used
that
the fast
fast
repair
repair.
and stayed on the lead lap.
Fantastic
figured he used
move.
it.
Forgot about the fast repair there. That's going to bring the 8 back into this race.
And that's a luxury at the end of these races. If you're clean for the whole race and something happens late like this and you have that fast repair, it just saved his race. He was almost completely done as the pace car pulls off.
Green flag, green flag.
And back to our regularly scheduled program, Kevin Stanley Jr. with a launch out in
Ooh,
front.
second place,
Keith
they
Ayers, Javier Zapata, really tight together. Moved to the inside of Zapata for Blesh.
Oh, a spin. Mark Cofield and Tyler Johnson looks like they just got... I only saw the back end of it. It looked like Tyler Johnson might have got into the back of the 97. But can't really tell. Could have just been a spin, but let's check
Looked
it
like a
out.
little bit of 3 wide action. 3 wide. Middle car
Yeah,
just
it's
gets
been
loose. Nobody else collected the 4, barely escaping that one. And we are going to be under 40 to go when the green flag comes back out. I'm seeing 11 drivers on the lead
Nope,
lap.
we got a couple guys pitting.
So we have Jade Feathers, Anthony Camarada.
Now these
all
guys, they
coming down.
might be trying to take tires here. We did see that green flag run. You take tires here and nobody else does, you're gonna have a huge advantage. They are gonna be behind. Who took tires last time? Who did we see? It was the 113 of Reginald Harris. I'm guessing he took tires. That would be huge. He'll have that track position ahead of them with the newer tires. Only a few laps older and not much green. So if these other guys, if we get another caution, these other guys decide to pit for tires, it'll give him such a huge advantage. He already has a huge advantage with new tires. So
Absolutely. And as we take a look back to the field, another driver has called it a night. That was Nicholas Lamb, out, listed next to his name down there in P17. Going to lose all of the spots. Probably finish around P21.
yeah, Bristol was not nice to him. His truck was super loose early on when he got some damage, and then he just kept getting collected, and just not a great night. Hopefully comes back next week and has a good race.
Now, if we do take a look, P13, Bruno Latour, involved in what I believe was the first incident of the night. Blown motor, tow, fast repair, and his, for the most part, kept his nose clean, eyes forward, and I just heard another vehicle blow up as well.
Somebody blew up. It might have been the car on pit road. Matt McDonald. Might have been what it was. I don't... Not sure, but we are doubling up here.
Current lucky dog holders, the 96 of Smith, 2 laps down, P12. We have 2 drivers fighting for P13 5 laps down. That is Latour and Coster, both 5 laps down. Irwin
Got a shot.
P15 9 down. And everybody else is going to be double-digit laps down and hoping to gain spots on anybody else that parks it for the night.
Coming to this restart, gotta shout out Jocelyn. Plus 16 spots on the start. Having a great run.
Green flag, green flag.
Not as great of a launch from Stanley here as before, but still keeps the lead. As we get some
Yeah, 2
slight
and 3
contact.
right there.
Wilmore making the charge again, trying to get back to the front after that damage and fast repair.
And with not many cars on the lead lap, he was able to stay right up there. Oh, and he goes around. Wilmore's around.
Wilmore's around, taps Jocelyn.
It was just another
Multiple-
case of getting loose.
Multiple cars involved in that one.
Just talking about Jocelyn happened.
So we watched
Right
Wilmore.
there.
It just just gets loose on him. Collected there, and then
Oh,
many
Tyler
other
Johnson.
trucks involved.
We're talking about Tyler Johnson. If this thing is decided by points, he's in trouble
Oh,
again.
and Bruno. Bruno caught up in this one. Heavy damage.
And the 4 again is just caught up, not in the wreck, but just caught up. Can't catch a break for that McDonald's truck. I feel like the 4 has been in almost everything, and it hasn't really been his fault at all.
Just checking up, and then all that whole pack of cars
Just
slides
out of
down
nowhere.
into him. And that is tough for the 54, who is fighting for every position possible while 5 laps down. That's extremely tough for the 4, who has done nothing but get collected in other people's business. And just that's tough for both the 8 and the 420. Extremely
the
strong drivers involved.
The 8's front end is destroyed. He's still out there, but like we said, that fast repair is gone. He used it last time. He doesn't have that luxury anymore. But that front end is hardly intact.
Do a
5 is
walk
kinda
through the
putting
current
around.
field. Kevin Stanley is our leader. Zapata's up 14. Reginald Harris, that's Skull Candy Toyota, doing pretty good so far tonight, trying to stay out of all the trouble as possible. Anthony Camarada, Will Moore, that right front is a little bashed up on that truck. Blesh with minimal damage. Jade Feathers, that front end is quite crumpled. Brandon Alessi, some right front damage to that truck. Seth Morrison, that McDonald's machine is not loving it tonight. And then Keith Ayers, looking pretty clean as it sits right now, back in P10. And the last car on the lead lap is both Tyler Johnson and Jeffrey Smith, 11th and 12th, are 1 lap down and will be in contest with each other for the next lucky dog.
And while we're here right before this green, I don't think many drivers have even thought about 8th place. It can't be. There's too much going on.
Green flag, green flag.
As they come through this start finish line there.
24 gets a
Stanley
great
Jr.
jump
out
with him.
front.
And that 113 on new tires, like we said. Right there, he definitely quicker.
And around goes Alessi.
Yellow, yellow,
It
yellow.
appeared to be Alessi going around back there. The 40 just looked like it got
might have
loose
been
all on
Moore
its
again.
own.
I know Moore got around up in the front. There might have been 2
Jade
spins there.
Feathers. There were multiple. Jade Feathers clips the yellow, loses it on the straight, destroys the wall. The 40 has to twitch up with airs on the inside, gets loose.
And then Will
Morrison
Moore on exit.
spun. The 4 got loose but didn't hit anything. Corrected it,
Yeah.
avoided the 40. Go back and take a look at that 75.
Jocelyn down pit road.
At this point, with how many cars are on the lead lap, if you've got tires and you're on the lead lap, go take them.
Yeah,
It really isn't going to matter at this point.
if you're not in the top 3 or 4, you might as well.
And unfortunate as we look at the scoring pylon, lap down fighter Bruno Latour has called it a night. Unfortunate finish there. Got caught up in that incident after trying to stay clean from the first one. Really strong fight. I mean, not the result he's going to want, but hopefully he's super proud of what he was able to do after the initial wreck. That took him 5 laps down.
That'll give a couple guys one extra position. Bruno will keep going down laps, and we'll have people like Cofield and Sleeping Beauty gain some. Nicholas Lamb is out. Matt McDonald's out. They're stuck where they are, but Cofield and Sleeping Beauty should be able to gain some positions here with them leaving.
Looks like Tyler Johnson, 11th.
Someone else
is a
who
lap
just
down.
disconnected. Jocelyn Blesh disconnected. Must have been caught up in something, and that's another car out.
Yeah, I
We're at
don't
a point
see
where
why the 420 would have parked it. I didn't see anything too severe on that
And with
truck.
28 laps left, that'll give everyone through
I see on the incident
one extra
counter.
position.
I do see on the incident counter lap 157 a crash out of that 420 machine. Something we might have missed. Ran right into Will Moore.
Right into Will Moore.
We missed that. Will Moore got loose, collected the 420. That's the second time that 420 has unfortunately ran into the 8 as he's gotten loose.
And something we did miss, that brought Will Moore down pit road. He's still sitting on pit road.
Yeah, he's currently on a 2-minute pit stop.
And that is going to put only 8 cars on the lead lap.
Kevin Stanley out front. Gets a good launch once again. You
Gotta
are
watch that
correct. We are
113.
down to 8 on the lead lap, and those 8 are all currently the Dash4Cash qualifiers. And another car goes around that looked like the 40 of Alessi again, as he's immediately jumped to pit road, I believe. Oh, and a hard hit for Cofield into the 40.
And just heard on the radio, Cofield couldn't see it. So he probably riding his onboard after we watched the initial spin. He probably came right through the corner and couldn't see him.
40 gets loose, collects the 7, collects multiple others trying to check up and getting loose for it. And then you go on board with
happened
Cofield.
here? Oh, he just pulls up.
He was just kind of full speed into the corner. Couldn't see anything until right now as the 40 pulled on track. I mean, the only thing that could have been done different is, I mean, he maybe could have been a little slower through the corner since the yellow was out, but the way the 40 whipped it on track, I would hope they have a relative to see somebody coming. That's just unfortunate for both those drivers, getting a lot more damage than they had.
Almost guarantee he didn't have a track map up. That's something that you can really utilize, especially at these smaller tracks to know where the wrecks are. If he had a track map, he knew there'd be a car sitting down there, but don't think he does, and it's just unfortunate. Another disconnect, Brandon Wallace and Mark Cofield. So who do we have left on track that hasn't disconnected? That's laps down.
So drivers that are still out there are top guys: Kevin Stanley, Javier Zapata, Reginald Harris, Keith Ayers, Anthony Camarada, and the 96 of Jeffrey Smith. Got Seth Morrison all on the lead lap. I'm seeing Brandon Alessi in the pits. Tyler Johnson's in the pits. That's 8 and 9. Moore is 4 laps down in P10. Coster's 5 laps down P11. The 75 of Jade Feathers, I'm not sure if they've called it a night yet. They're in the pit still as well. P13 is out. That is Blesh. I'm seeing Irwin in 14th listed in the pits. The tour is out. Cofield was collected in that. I almost wonder if that might end his night. We'll see as everybody comes out of the pits and who's still listed is out. I mean, we might be down to the final, like, 11 drivers on track.
Green, green, green.
It's become a race of survival. There's been some good racing up front, but it's just been stay alive.
I mean,
And that 113, I still think we got to keep an eye. If he can get up to second, it'll be something there.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Another
The yellow
caution's
flag
out.
is back out.
7th place.
That one appears to
Brandon
be...
Alessi, and they're still wrecking the 79.
See where that one started. I'm seeing an incident involving the 4. Did this occur before the 4 got there? Oh, eclipsed the
gets
yellow.
loose.
Oh,
Nowhere
joins the
for them to go.
79. More wrecking up in front. What happened to the 79 after that contact? Let's see. That's going to be big wheel damage, hard to control the truck, and it's just going to turn down into the 40.
And he doesn't want to turn down there. It's just going down.
Unfortunately, Alessi, that's really bad for him because he was P9 in the last car on the lead lap trying to fight to get into that top 8 for that Dash for Cash.
And that's going to put, I think, only 6 cars on the lead lap. Because right now the 7 is... Oh, 7 is going to try and beat the pace car off. It looks like it's going to be close.
Tyler Johnson does
I don't know
appear
if
to
he
beat the
made it.
pace car. But
He's got huge damage,
was
but
the pit closed?
And that's something huge. If he can stay on that lead lap, that'll almost secure him that Dash for Cash spot. But it looks like he has major left front damage. He's going to be way off pace.
Yeah, that truck is absolutely hurting right now.
Yeah, his left front's not going straight, but I mean, if he could just stay out of the way, he'll stay on the lead lap and it'll be a solid finish.
That's going to have us with 7 drivers on the lead lap. 8th place is Will Moore, 3 laps down. The 4, unfortunately, is still parked on pit road, trying to take care of damage and get back out and hope other people can wreck out.
It's something I'm seeing. Seth Morrison still on pit road, so that's going to put Will Moore a lap ahead, kind of secure in that spot for 8th. As we come around for another restart.
Green flag, green flag.
18 to go as we have 7 drivers fighting for the win on the lead lap. Will Moore all alone taking that last Dash for Cash spot currently. So here comes the Zapata.
I was talking about the 113 being on the newest tires, but Air in the 17 is only on like 19 lap tires compared to the 31 laps of Harris. We get a move for second. Nothing on the bottom. Looks like the top is back.
Yellow flag is out.
Caution is out. It looks like it's the 7th place car at Tyler Johnson again.
The
And
car that's
must be a handful.
extremely damaged. Not even going that fast. It just goes around. Comes to a stop on the inside there. Has to get it going again. And that driver is just trying to keep the truck rolling, no matter what happens to it. He
Stopped on
wants...
track. I wonder if he's waiting for the pace car, if he's telling him the pace car's got to go by. That's what it looks like. Yeah, looks like he's got to wait for the pace car, then he'll pass him. 1 to go.
A real
And
handful to drive that truck must be right now, but I mean he's seeing the Dash for Cash spots and doesn't want to lose it. I mean, if he has to go down pit road and lose, just 2 or 3 laps, I mean he's gonna fall back behind Coster, who's in 9th. Everybody from 10th on back is either still on pit lane or parked it for the night. 20th caution of the night, 12 laps to go here at Bristol. And there has been just a lot of losing the truck. I don't think we've seen more than 2. Maybe there were 2 incidents of somebody doing something that they touched another truck before losing control.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because they've been clean. They've been racing really clean. A couple guys put in the wall, a couple spins by contact, but just about everything, like you were saying, is just a single car spin, and it's really unfortunate because they've been doing a really good job. Bristol's not being kind tonight. It's loose in and loose out.
I think
With it
about
being
the
such a-
only drivers that we have not mentioned of being involved in a crash is probably Javier Zapata and Keith Ayers. I don't
Yeah,
think
they've
we've
been
seen
clean.
them spin or hit anything. Reginald Harris was involved at no fault of his own. I mean, we saw Kevin Stanley have to fall back at one point. You see
Yeah,
the
he got wrecked for the
96
lead.
back there, and Kamrad is there in the 71. I mean, everybody has been in something tonight. So we're going to have 10 to go, and we take the green flag here. See if we can get them all done under green. Get a good fight for the win. So a launch from Stanley clears up in front of Zapata.
Not by much, though. The 24's got a good run. He's there. I just think that bottom line just isn't there. He needs to use the top, but if the 5 is there, he won't be able to make the pass.
The top side is just going to prevail. That run off is going to be better than the run in every single lap. It's almost going to take a dirt track style slide job if you're even close enough to make a move on the inside.
We're coming to 8 to go. There's not many more chances. I'm going to have to find a little more in these trucks. The 24 gets a good run down the back straight. Oh, he gets a run off the corner. He's going to send it down there.
Side by side down into the next corner.
He might have something on this bottom line. It's working for him. He's making little gains every single corner.
He's kind of doing a almost like half diamond.
Ooh, the 5 had the lift on corner entry. '24 is not giving up on the bottom. He's a little bit loose. He's going to go back to the top to try and get another run at it. He's only got 4 laps to go.
And you know who's almost liking everything he's seeing is Keith Ayers in 3rd. Watching this out of his windshield, is hoping for probably not a wreck, but he's probably hoping for some contact that'll slow them both up and let him get on by.
He's going to run this top side. He's been running just a little bit higher.
He's not really fighting anybody but those two. Keith's able to sacrifice some entry speed for the exit speed on most of these corners.
Coming to 2 to go at the line. The 24 is going to make a dive down low. It's just not enough. He gets loose on exit. He just can't keep that speed up that he has in the middle of the corner.
Does the 24 have anything for the 5? Does the 17 have anything for either of them? Coming through 3 and 4, coming to the white flag lap. They're side by side for the lead.
The closest the 24's been.
And this is right where he wants to be. He has the slight advantage in.
The
5
5
into
in
the
the
wall
wall.
off. They're going to be side by side even into 3 and 4. Keith Ayers is right behind. Going to make a dive to the inside.
Oh,
into
they
the wall.
touched.
It's Zapata. Takes it at the line over Kevin Stanley and Keith Ayers. An exciting finish. Jeffrey Smith claims P4. Anthony Camarada P5. Reginald Harris round out the lead lap 6. Will Moore
Man.
and Tyler Johnson, both 2 laps down, snagged the last Dash for Cash spots as Tanner Coster had quite the fight after being damaged to make it to P9, but 1 spot short of that Dash for Cash. Charles Irwin rounds out the top 10, and everybody on behind that besides Sleeping Beauty 39 laps down had parked it for the night.
Yeah, once you get past that point of you can't gain any spots because there's not enough laps left, usually you'll just park it and get out of the way. You're usually pretty upset and heated and no reason to run anymore. But what a final lap.
That was quite a battle that we just witnessed there at the end. It was some of the best racing we'd seen all night. Most of the trucks had, parked it by this point, unfortunately, but everybody who was left managed to just keep it together. The track was a handful tonight. It was super loose. I mean, we saw that just the entire time. Nobody could keep it from under them or keep it under them, and ended up just losing it in, losing it off, hitting the apron a little bit.
Yeah, nobody could keep the truck underneath them, but just 6 guys kept it underneath them and finished on the lead lap with a chance for the win, and Javier Zapata comes out with it. Is Zapata going up to victory lane? No, he's already out of his truck.
We'll see if we can get our top 3 drivers into the waiting room.
Going back, I mean, Zapata just he didn't really have anything on that bottom, and then the last 2 laps he really sent it in and made it stick like we hadn't seen the few laps before.
We'll start here with our P3 finisher, Keith Ayers. We'll bring him up into the booth. Keith, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. You got a copy?
And 4, loud and clear.
A solid run from you there at the end, trying to follow those 2 battling for the lead. Didn't quite have enough to get it from them. You still gain yourself another a playoff point there with P3. But from your point of view, just the whole race, I mean, we saw from almost everybody, it was super loose. Not a lot of control on entrance, on exit, and watching you kept it clean for the most part. I mean, we mentioned you and Zapata were 2 of the ones that we hardly had to say the name of during a yellow flag review. You kept it clean. You were at a good spot at the end, and it looked like you had enough, but the way they were fighting each other just didn't let you make any pass. So is there anything more you think you needed at the end, or was it just hard to get by those 2?
It was really hard to get by those 2. Every time I would try to, I thought I had a run. With them being side by side in front of me, I ran up on a bunch of dirty air, and I couldn't get around either one of them. A couple more laps, I think I would have been able to get on for the win, but I'm so excited about my run tonight. I mean, hats off to the team. I can't say enough about how what a bad fast truck tonight. Will, everybody on the team did such a great job. I mean, to start 5th, finish 3rd, we'll gladly take it. This was my cleanest race of the season. I'm so stoked.
Well, it was absolutely a great run from you. You made the Dash for Cash. You needed top 8.
Yes.
You made 3rd. And, I mean, you got, I think it's 3 races. If you've beat the other 7 drivers in any of those 3, $25 in your pocket. If you got the most points after those 3 races, if I remember correctly, I think that was 100.
Yes.
So there's a potential for $175 if you win all 3. That would secure you the overall.
Yeah, and that's gonna be one of my main goals in the 3 Series Dash for Cash. My first goal is just to qualify, check that off the list. My second is to either win one of the races or be the outright champion at the end of the Dash for Cash and walk out of there with $175, which, I mean, that would be amazing in this first year of the Truck Series on iRacing. I mean, I can't say anything. I can't say anything negative about how things have gone so far. I mean, it's just been a blast.
You have one of those tracks in the Dash4Cash circled, or just showing up?
I'm just showing up and doing the best I can and running my own race and seeing where the carts fall.
Well, absolutely. P3 after a race this chaotic, nothing to be ashamed of. Solid points night. Dash4Cash locked in.
Yes.
Very, very good race from you. The truck looks like it came home with all the fenders attached and hardly damaged. So I bet
that was my other. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. That was my other big goal, other than qualifying with the Dash4Cash, is to just bring the GM Government Shivers plus Chevrolet Silverado back in one piece, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, with the lowest incident points was 6, except Ryan O'Toole, who exited early. I mean, gotta be proud with how the race went with only six incident points.
Yeah, I mean, both of those were of my own doing. One was I ran checking in for a caution. I hit the back of the 77 truck, which I still feel bad about, and I apologize to him again for that. The other one, I don't remember where the other one came from, but yeah, I just want to apologize again to Tanner. I mean, I checked it for a caution, got into the back of him. He spun down, hit the inside wall, and he still went on, but after that, his race went to heck in a handbasket. I mean, and I feel bad, and I just want to apologize to him for that. But overall, for me, awesome. I don't have no complaints.
Well, certainly a solid race from you. I can hear the excitement in your voice for both the good finish, the clean finish, and the Dash4Cash lock. So we'll go ahead and give you the floor for some shout outs. Go ahead and drop any names you want to thank.
I want to thank my whole team, Will, my co-owner, Brandon, Seth, James, all my teammates, everybody on this team, my crew members, fast race trucks, fast pit stops all night. We can only look up from here, and everybody tune in every week to the WRL. We try to put on the best races we can all week. Jade, the owner of the league, he does the best job he can, and it's superior. I have no complaints.
Absolutely. Well, solid race from you, and we'll look forward to potentially talking to you next week.
Looking forward to it, boys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
That was our third place finisher, Keith Ayers. Go ahead and grab Kevin Stanley Jr., who was the strongest car all night. Kevin, Jonathan, and Michael in the booth got a copy?
Yes, so.
That one just, I can almost feel the heartbreak. The solid run you had for most of the race, the fall and fight back, and then having the lead at the end, and then just not having the same run the 24 did off the final corner. Just walk us through how the race was for you and the closing laps.
I mean, most dominant truck all night, then get spun and have to drop back. Yeah, that sucked. But I'm here. He was out of the way, so oh well. And then drove my way back up front, and there at the end, everybody else was loose, and my truck was just tight. Like, it didn't want to tone.
Yeah, you looked planted to the track. Everybody else was either loose in.
Apparently not. Everybody said I got told I was sideways. Apparently on some people's screen. I don't know. So,
well,
I knew everybody behind me had better tires, so I was just trying to keep it up, hoping for like a green white checkered maybe, not a 10, 15 lap one, hopefully, because I could pull away on starts.
Yeah, we saw you had really good jumps on the restarts. You and Wilmore were really good at that tonight.
Apparently I done them dirty by what I hoed to, so I don't know. I was going 40 until the restart zone. That's what it told me to do.
Well, you've locked yourself into the Dash4Cash being within that top 8. You got 3 more playoff points to add on to your total. You got to feel pretty... I mean, overall, you got to feel pretty good about the night. I know losing the win like that has got to be tough, but it was a great points night. You're locked in the Dash4Cash, so it's got to be an overall positive race.
You can qualify pole, led a lap. Pretty sure I led in most laps. Oh, pretty good points night. 3 more bonus points after last week. I don't know where we go next week, but...
I think we're at the Rock.
I I should do good though. I think I won there in Alka.
There you
Are
go.
we done?
Well, solid race from you, bringing home a solid points day, locking the Dash for Cash. Go ahead and give any shout outs that you've got. The floor is yours.
Thanks to Jeffrey and Nicholas always showing up. I know both of them didn't have the nights they wanted. They both got caught up. I know Nick got wrecked out. Jeffrey had multiple incidents, multiple laps down, got a drive through, then worked his way back up to the lead pack. So I want to thank them for always showing up for the team, giving their best foot forward, and that's where they are.
Absolutely. Well, it was a solid finish from you, and we look forward to potentially talking to you next week.
Yes, so same here.
Kevin Stanley Jr., driver of the number 5, coming home P2 tonight. And now we can get on to our winner, Javier Zapata. Javier, it's Jonathan and Michael in the booth. Got a copy?
You got a copy?
What a finish out of you. You had a strong run for most of the final, from what I can remember with how long the race was, the final at least third of the race. You were up there competing, pressuring everybody, but not doing too much, just to where you killed your tires. And then you had just enough life and speed there at the end to challenge Kevin and steal the win from him away on the last lap. How does that one feel for you?
This was a good one because we didn't have too much expectations going in. We were just gonna finish top 8 and see where we landed, because we know there was gonna be maybe a lot of cautions and crashes and whatnot. But yeah, like you said, that was a strategy. Just keep it easy, let the race come to you, try to keep ourselves out of trouble. And we pitted only once. We kind of learned after last week in Martinsville that track position is everything in this track. So trying to stay up front as much as we could. We pitted, I think, on lap 100, 107 something. I think second place pitted at that lap too. So I think that worked for us. And yeah, a good race, exciting finish, adrenaline pumping, and so yeah, all good, having fun.
Yeah, it looked like you were loose the first few laps trying to get underneath him, and then you really made it stick. How'd you make that work?
Yeah, I was trying to, run the high line as much as I could, just to kind of save a little bit of tires for the end. So I started running the middle line a little bit there. I started swerving here and there a little bit. So I tried it again, and it worked. It stuck the last couple of laps, and yeah, it worked. It worked. So I think Kevin also hit the wall a couple of times there on the last lap, so that's only helped a little bit. But we raced clean. He raced clean. I raced clean, and it was a good finish.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for, especially when there's a little bit of contact. As long as it's clean racing, and you can't ask for anything more from both drivers.
Yeah, this is fun. This is a fun league, and happy to be here. A big shout out to our team as well, Bristol Motorsports. Jay, Tony. We have a lot of fun on this races. So yeah, looking forward to the next one, and a big shout out to Lopez too, a good friend who's looking at this too.
Well, just an amazing win for you. That gives you 2 on the season, an extra 5 playoff points. I think that'll total you at about 11. So it's going to seed you second in the playoffs behind Tanner Coster. So that does move you up 1 position in the playoff standings. And we look forward to going to the Rock next week. Do you got any feelings about that track? Have you raced it in the trucks before?
I have. It's a good track, much better than Bristol, I think, for me. So we will have to practice a little bit, but it's a good track, a fun track. And a big shout out to Tanner too. I think he had a bad day today, but all in all, he finished I think in the top 10. So yeah, he's pulling through. It's going to be a good battle till the end. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tanner brought it home 1 spot outside the Dash for Cash, but he recovered extremely well. He was in a big incident and just came back out on track and drove laps. And as people parked the car for the night, he gained spots. So top 10 for him is not too bad, all things considered.
Yeah, and a big shout out to you guys. I think you do a wonderful job, with the broadcasting, and yeah, having a lot of fun on this Tuesday night races.
Yeah, we're having fun doing it. Still learning it, but we're having fun.
Nice.
Alrighty. we'll go ahead and let you go for the night. Great win. Congratulations. And we'll see you out there next week.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
And that was our race winner, Javier Zapata, snagging his second victory of the season. And wasn't another event-filled race, just like Martinsville. This one, just as many cautions as last week, but this one was a little less on aggressiveness and, bad moves and maybe dirty driving. This was just about the track and the truck just not being on the same page. The trucks just wanted to slide all over the place, and it didn't matter where. Entry, middle, exit, sometimes halfway down the straightaway it looked like it'd still be loose. So, we saw a lot of good action, and just unfortunately a lot of yellows given the track conditions.
Yeah, you can't even be too mad at it. Like you said, it was a bunch of single car spins, so it's not like these guys were like ramming into each other, wrecking each other. It's real unfortunate, but a great race. Either way, there was some good racing, a little bit of strategy with there only being one pit stop on when you did it. Like we saw the 113 pitting a little earlier and then getting the track position when everybody else pit. The Rock next week, Rock's definitely a different kind of track. It's not a short track, but it's also not quite an intermediate. It'll be nice to get away from the short tracks of Martinsville and Bristol. They tend to bring a little bit of the bad side of league racing and iRacing in general with a bunch of cautions, so hopefully we'll get some good green flag runs next week.
Absolutely. As we got on screen now, our race results. Kevin Stanley Jr. is listed as... That's qualify. That's my bad. Let's bring up the race results.
And our leader was our biggest mover, Zapata, plus 15. So,
yes, Javier Zapata bringing home the win. Followed by Kevin Stanley Jr. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons here. I apologize. Keith Ayers bringing the podium home P3. Jeffrey Smith, Anthony Camarada, Reginald Harris, Will Moore, Tyler Johnson. Looks like those round out the Dash4Cash lock-ins. Tanner Coster and Charles Irwin do round out that top 10.
Then we had outside the top 10, Seth Morrison, Brandon Alessi, 12th. Jade Feathers, 13th. Jocelyn Besh. Sleeping Beauty, Bruno Latour, 16th. Mark Cofield, Mac McDonald, 18th. Nicholas Lamb, Kyle Lawver, Brandon Ressler, Ryan Jones, and rounding it out, Ryan O'Toole.
All right, we go ahead and look forward to The Rock next week. This has been MC Motorsports Broadcasting live for the Worldwide Racing League at Bristol Motor Speedway. We hope everybody has a fantastic night. And once again, congratulations to those top 8 for the Dash4Cash lock and Javier.